Good day, South Illustrators. This is Mrs. Lawson. I am going to share with you a kind of baseball classic poem. This book is by Ernest Lawrence Thayer, and it's illustrated by Gerald Fitzgerald. There have been several different versions over the years. This one happens to be published by Atheneum Press. And I will go ahead and share a well-loved poem about a sport that we might actually get to see a little bit of this year. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. The score stood 4-2 with but one inning more to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a sickly silence fell upon the patrons of the game. Final inning and 2 people are already out. The straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could but get a whack at that, we'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake, and the former was a Lulu, and the latter was a cake. So upon that stricken multitude grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to the bat. Got 2 weak players that have got to somehow survive without getting an out. But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and the men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second and Flynn a hugging third. Scoring position. Then from 5,000 throats and more there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell, it knocked upon the mountains and recoiled upon the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile on Casey's face. And when, responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat, no stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. And while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance gleamed in Casey's eyes, a sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching in a haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike 1, the umpire said. From the benches, black with people, there went a muffled roar, like the beating of a storm wave on a stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" shouted someone from the stand, and it's likely they'd have killed him if had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult. He bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the spheroid flew, but Casey still ignored, and the umpire said, "Strike 2." He only gets one more shot, right? "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands, and the echo answered fraud. But one scornful look from Casey, and the multitude was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold, they saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lip, his teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go, and now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. What do we think's happened? Oh, somewhere in this favored land the sun is shining bright. The bands are playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. Somewhere men are laughing, somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. So there we go with our poem based on a very Babe Ruth-like character. And just when we think it's all worked out well, it hasn't. But that's half the fun of the sport. Hopefully we will get a chance to see a little bit played. And this week we should be, or soon, you should be hearing a few more books that are tied into our baseball theme. Have a great day.